thing that I noticed was there was a lot of uncertainty as to where this was going. In fact, a number of people just didn't want to come to those briefs, didn't feel comfortable coming to those briefs, and at some point, I saw that attitude completely change, because what I saw in those departments were people who wanted to show you how well they could do what they do, and they've done that. And I want to commend all of you for that. That has been something that's just been very rewarding to me. When you compare what we were doing prior to that and what we do now, there's a tremendous difference. We have had people from cities throughout the region, from Pensacola, Florida, from Mississippi, from Tuskegee, from Montgomery, all that sit in this room to try to learn this process, to take back to their areas, because they saw the efficiencies that came out of this process, and they saw the kind of hard work that you put into the process. And it has really paid off for our community as a whole. Well, some of the things that we've seen in this process is just the efficiency of departments. I recall when we were going through a budget process in 2009, I think among all the departments, we must have got about 200 or 300 questions about the budget process. And the amazing thing to me was, in just a few days, those departments were so prepared in their budget process, in their management process, we got the answer to all of those questions in just a few days. Without this process being in place, and without the regular accountability of those departments, that would not have been possible. So let me commend you for what you've done. You've done an excellent job in the efficiency of what we do as a city. The other thing is the effectiveness of the service that's delivered. Even though at many times we've had to really struggle with the lack of resources, especially financial resources, the lack of personnel in a lot of departments, and we still have that. But what I've seen is that a collaboration among departments and within those departments that's bridged the gap of the resources that we didn't have. This process has been very, very important to you being able to do that. Whether it was savings on the cost of cell phones in one department, or it was savings on utilities in another department, or it was tremendous amounts of savings on overtime in all departments. You have looked at your departments, looked at the process, and brought about some changes that have been positive for the departments and for the city of Mobile. And there's absolutely no doubt about that. The evidence is on paper. It shows in our budgeting process. It shows in our accountability process. So there's no question that you've done an excellent job in getting that done. The other thing that I've seen is a real mobilization of resources. The resources that we do have, I have seen management systems put in place that have really taken advantage of those resources, and in many cases where we didn't do that. And now you understand that in many cases we have to do a whole lot with a small number of resources to get that done. And you've accomplished that. That has been accomplished. The cooperation among those departments and the cooperation among department heads is just really unparalleled. And so I am extremely impressed with everything that has taken place here. When I come down to the employee awards program and also the safety measures that have been put in place, and see employees who have made recommendations to save tremendous amount of money for the city of Mobile, who've been through this process, it is really, just really rewarding to me to see that take place. And it's all because of you. It's all because of the efforts you put forth. It's all because of the dedication you put into this process, and it's all because you've been successful in the application of this process. The big difference between what we do and what takes place in Baltimore is that Baltimore had just a few departments that they did an accountability on. It was not citywide. There's no department that's exempt from that in the city of Mobile. No department. Even the legal department has to come to CitiSmart. And the people who manage the money, we bring the finance department in here too. Nobody's exempt. That is not the case in Baltimore. They basically comprehensive accountability program in the country as it comes to cities. And I think it's clear that it's been successful. So on behalf of all of us at the city, Councilman Williams is here, Councilwoman Rich is here, Councilman Burrell is here, and I think that on behalf of all of us, we just want to commend you on the fine job you've done and the success you had in this process. The CitiSmart staff, thank you for the way you shepherded this process. You know, a lot of this started with us really trying to just put it together. Bill Harkins, as we initially started with Barbara Drummond and Bill trying to design all of this you see and hear. And the other thing that's so key to that, everything you see here was actually built by city employees. This wasn't ordered. It was designed right in this room, and it was built by city employees. The only thing that wasn't built by them was these screens and these electronics that you see here. Everything else, this room was designed by city employees, was put together by city employees, and it is really put together to do what we need to do in terms of gathering the information and having the resources we need to provide them with the assistance they need to be successful in this process. And you've all been successful. So let me again thank you for the process, thank you for your dedication, and commend you on the success. This is a celebration of your success. Not my success, not ours, your success on what you've done and how successful you've been in this process. And I know some of you kind of struggle with this process. I mean, when we first started, we had some folks that did not want to participate in this process and didn't know whether they could make it through this process. But those same folks are probably some of the most successful in this process because they are proud of what their staffs are doing, they're proud of what their department is doing, and they should be because they've been successful and they've been beneficial to the city and beneficial to all the citizens of the city.